Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. He is a monster, and in his original thumbnail, it says he is a serial, I don't know if I can say it, killer, but yeah, I do not know who this person is. Usually, like in a thumbnail, it's a person, like a story that we've heard before, but I don't know what this is about. So let's get into it, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So why did this super charming guy suddenly end up going crazy and murdering a bunch of people?
Oh.
Well, his name's Kid, but we'll call him Kid. And Kid lives in Thailand. And his whole life, he's been very charismatic, and he's really good at getting people to trust him.
Can I borrow your wallet?
Once he gets you to trust him, he'll...
What? Who? That is the most random question. Like, who asks to borrow a wallet? Can I borrow a wallet? What? I never heard that before. Is that a thing? Is it like asking to borrow money? Or is that... I don't know. I'm going too much into it.
He'll swindle you. So he's always conning and stealing and cheating people out of their money. This is basically how he makes a living. He's a con man. And he does this his entire life. But sometime around 2005, when he's around 40 years old, he decides that this con man life just isn't enough for him, and he suddenly gets into murder. So one day, he checks into a nice hotel. Then he goes out to a karaoke bar. And there, bam, he sees this beautiful woman, and she's up there singing, and he thinks she is fine. And soon enough, he starts talking to her, and they're chatting, and Kid, he can't tell her that he's a con man and that he's got nothing going on. So he tells her that he's a talent agent and that she really caught his eye. And Singer is all flattered, and so when Kid asks her to come back to his hotel, she's like, "Aye."
It's interrupted by an ad.
So they go back to his hotel, and once they're there,
that is weird. Like, if some random person comes up to you, is like, "Oh, I'm a talent agent. You want to come to my hotel and talk?" Would you go? Oh, no, it's kind of sketchy.
He starts asking Kid about the whole talent agent thing, and suddenly he gets all defensive. Because, you know, he's a liar who just got caught in a lie. And so they're arguing about this, and this is where Kid just snaps. And boom, he grabs her by the neck, and he strangles her. And then he ties her up, and he drowns her in the hotel bathtub. Then he steals some of her stuff, and
he's mad at her because he lied and she called him out.
He leaves. The
Weird.
Next morning, police show up, and they find her body. And they have Kid's real name because he used his name to book the hotel room. But, unfortunately, his name is apparently very common in that area.
Oh.
There's like thousands of people with that same name. So they
Some
don't
kid.
catch him. And thus, Kid just keeps on traveling around Thailand, living his life, and no one suspects he did anything wrong. 5 months later, one night, he books a room at another nice hotel. And he goes to a massage parlor, and he hires a masseuse for her services, and he brings her back to his hotel, and for whatever reason, they get into
Why
an
do
argument.
people keep going
Once
to his
again,
hotel?
Kid just loses it, and he attacks her, strangling her, until she's unalived. Then he steals her phone and her jewelry, and he leaves. And from there, he just keeps going. A week later, he goes to another massage parlor and he picks up another woman. And he takes her back to his hotel room and he's like, "Hey, I own a gemstone mine." And she's like, "Oh, cool." And there, he strangles her too until she's unalived. And then, of course, he steals a bunch of her stuff. Now, so far, the locations of the 3 women he's murdered, they've all been in Thailand, but they're about 100 miles apart from one another. So police aren't yet seeing the pattern.
How's he traveling all these distances in such a short amount of time?
However, some of these hotels do have security cameras, and one of them just happened to catch a Kid on video. And there he is checking into the hotel there. And so now police have an idea of what he looks like, and they start to piece
also, how is he picking up all these girls? Like, is he good looking? Because these AI pictures, I'm surprised. But unless, I don't know, are they attracted to the money or to him? Because, like I said, these AI pictures,
together,
Nuh-uh.
he's doing this to different women in different hotels, which means he's now officially a serial killer. And now they gotta get the Royal Thai Police involved, which is like the National Police Force. And so they get involved and they start looking over the case. Meanwhile, Kid just keeps going. A week after his last murder, he ends up in another hotel in a different province, and he picks up another masseuse. Then he takes her back to his hotel room, but this time he slips something into her
Crazy
drink
eyes.
that knocks her out. Once she's sedated, bam, he strangles her and he unalives her. Then, of course, he steals her stuff and he flees. But this time, Kid screws up because he leaves his fingerprints. I guess he wasn't so sloppy before, but he's been getting really sloppy lately. And so police investigate this death, and they look through the room, and they find his fingerprints, so now they know who he is. And so, boom, they start a nationwide manhunt looking for Kid. And soon, screenshots from the security footage and an old mugshot of his are posted up everywhere, all over the news.
And that's what he really looks like. I'm not gonna say anything.
But by this point, Kid has
I was just
already
like,
fled.
he
He's
picked up all these
hundreds of
girls.
miles away from the place he last murdered. And as you could have predicted, in this new place, he picks up yet another masseuse. And he takes her back to a hotel, and there he strangles her and unalives her. So this is number 5. After that, he escapes again.
Just
and he
for
goes to another town
jewelry
he
and stuff?
crashes at a friend's house. Now, this friend, she's a widow, so we'll just call her Widow. And Kid, he's staying at her house, and she's like, "It's so good to see you." She has no idea he just unalived 5 women, 4 of them in the last 3 weeks. And so he lays low with Widow. And she doesn't suspect a
He looks
thing.
totally different in
And
this picture.
everything is going great for him. I mean, police have no idea where he's at.
Until.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, you remember Kid has stolen a bunch of stuff from his victims, including their cell phones. And at some
Tracking.
point, he uses one of the victims' phones to
They're
make a
gonna track
couple of
him.
calls. And police have actually been tracking the SIM cards of those phones. And so the second he makes those calls, boom, they got his location. And so they send a squad out to that location, which is actually Widow's house. Meanwhile, Kid and Widow are there at the home watching TV, and suddenly a picture
Oh.
of him shows up on
And he be
the
looking
news.
crazy on the
And
TV
Widow's
too.
like, "Hey, that guy kind of looks like you." And Kid's like, "Nah, that don't look like me." But then,
Girl,
boom,
run.
boom, boom, police are beating on the door, and they come in, and bam, they arrest Kid. Here's his mugshot. But unfortunately, it's not over for him,
Oh.
because he's still got more murders to commit. And so anyway, he goes to trial.
What do you mean? They caught him, so... Oh my
Now, he
gosh.
pleads guilty and he gets life in prison, but he eventually gets his sentence reduced. I guess he's a model prisoner, and after 14 years, he's granted royal clemency and he's released
That does
on
not
good
make
behavior.
sense.
And so now, after 14 years, Kid is out, and it's 2019, and he's 55 years old at this point. But he's still a pretty charming guy, so pretty quickly, he gets himself a girlfriend.
He got convicted for doing all this, and they reduced his sentence. That does not make sense. I don't understand
And
people.
of course, Kid doesn't tell her that he's a convicted serial killer. No. He tells her that he's a lawyer, and I guess she believes him. And so they get into a relationship, and they move in together, and they end up running a noodle shop together. But during that time he's living with her, he gets on Facebook one day, and he meets this other woman. Her name's Ratsumi. She's a hotel maid. And they hit it off, and they start dating. And of course, he doesn't tell Ratsumi that he already has a girlfriend. Anyway, soon they start getting pretty serious. And so he's splitting his time living with each girlfriend. And at some point, he talks Ratsumi into lending him money, because I guess he's broke. Specifically, he talks her into putting a down payment on a car for him. And once he gets the car and he has it for a while, I guess he realizes he can't afford the payments on it. So instead of figuring out a way to pay Ratsumi back for the money she put down on the car, he decides to just break up with her. And so then he goes to break up with her, and this turns into a huge argument. And this
Oh,
argument
she wants her
gets
money.
heated, like really heated. And in that moment, Kid suddenly snaps, and he reverts to his old
Again.
ways. And boom, he grabs her by the
Whoever
neck,
released
and he
him.
strangles Ratsumi until
It's crazy.
she's unalived. Then he steals her motorcycle and he flees. Here's the thing, though. When police find Ratsumi's body, they know it was Kid who did it. I mean, there's only
How
been
they
like
know?
2 or 3 serial killers in Thailand's entire history, and he's one of them. And so, pretty quickly, pow, they plaster his photo everywhere. Then, about 4 days later,
What about his
he
other
gets on a
girlfriend?
train, and a young couple spots him, and they're like, hey, I think that's the serial killer. And they contact police, and once the train stops,
Why does this guy look like a Korean
police
actor?
arrest him. Here's another mugshot. And so, Kid is busted again, and he pleads guilty, and this time, he's sentenced to death.
Oh.
That is wild.
Oh my gosh, I tried to stop it before it gets to the ad, but it didn't work. But who had the bright idea to reduce his sentence the first time? Like, I don't understand that. Like, he unalived all these people, got life sentence, and then you just let him free. Makes no sense. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SEKSHI V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.